I... Oh, man. I... Uh, yeah, honestly, I was right to not turn this into like a gaming stream or whatever. Like I'm still not in the right headspace. So yeah, pretty much, kind of been on like a short notice break from streaming for at least a week. Yeah. So the reason why I took a break is the reason why I'm still on break is because of my cat. And with my cat, I've had him for over 16 years. And over a week ago, I found out that he died. So yeah, I'm still kind of processing it and everything in the grand scheme of things. And but it's just like it's a little weird because the way my mind works is like I don't know. I tried like taking it easy from everything and everyone. I tried doing that, and it didn't work. And at the end of the day, it's just like I tried that, and more or less, I just felt like a piece of shit because I felt like I was doing nothing with my life, and I was just kind of wasting it away. And I was just like, I just felt like I had to do something. I'm still kind of processing. Um, but like I'm doing better, but I wouldn't necessarily say like I'm back to normal or anything. And like I still not really sure about like coming back to streaming anytime soon, honestly. And that's mainly because like right now, especially now, I don't really feel like I'm in like the right headspace to be like streaming games live and just trying to be entertaining. I don't. I don't really feel that. And I could try forcing myself, but one, it sounds like a lot of work, honestly. And that's not something I have the energy to really do, regardless of whether or not it's successful. And two, yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. So yeah, I really don't know when I'm gonna be like back to normal on my streaming again. I don't know. Like I'm still kind of like above all else, like I'm doing better, but I'm still kind of processing. And on top of that, I'm also I'm also getting a job next month, and I'm gonna be preoccupied with that. So yeah, I really don't know if I can get back to streaming anytime soon. I really don't. But yeah. Uh in the grand scheme of things, like just streaming, playing games live, and making content and whatnot, that's just kind of something I am more or less taking a break from. But it's also like something that's just like I don't really feel like I'm in the right headspace to do. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just like I just woke up one day and then I found him on the porch, just laying there. So it's just like I had this plan all together to like try and fix my internet issues. One thing led to another, and eventually it's just like it came to a point where it's like I was actually whether or not the whole thing with my cat happened, whether or not my cat had died, I felt like I was eventually going to have to call like a mandatory break, at least for a week. Because, one, the issues with my internet. Two, there was also those wildfires, but that's pretty much said and done, kinda, at least for my end. And then there's also my hard drive, which, after about 2 years of having it, it finally decided that it wanted to die. Yeah. So I needed to go out and get a new one, and thankfully it's been working fine so far. I only got it for a few couple of days ago, so I don't know how long it's gonna last, but hopefully it lasts longer than this one. But yeah, or not last longer than this one. Last longer than my previous one. So yeah. Um. Other than that, like, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it was just like I don't know. It's just I like more or less I wouldn't necessarily say like I'm completely like shut down or anything. Like, cause I'm more or less like I'm back to talking to people I know and everything, and usually like I'm just back to just more or less kind of the usual business of talking to them and everything, and I'm fine with that. And I can handle that fun at least, but it's just like when it comes to doing content, whether it be recorded or live, I don't know. I don't really feel up for it. And it's just I think it's just a mixture of every how this year's just playing out overall. Like I don't really feel comfortable with it. And I mean, also next to that, I know it's kind of shallow to say, but next to that, I'm also like not making any money off of doing this. I know it's kind of shallow, but at the same time, it's just like this streaming and everything. Like, it's continued to be just a hobby. I wanted to treat it like a full-time job or anything, but that's not possible with how things are right now. I can't. It's just impossible for me to do that right now. Like I like look, I would love to stream games, and do all of that on a week basis without having to worry about anything, but like I'm like in and out of I'm in and out of the hospital multiple times out of the year. I've got rent, I've got bills, I've got shit I gotta deal with. So it's just like, yeah, sure, maybe people would want to. Yeah, sure, maybe there are people out there that want to see me play games and everything. Sure, maybe there are people out there that want to see me just like stream and everything and react to stuff. Sure, but in a perfect world, I would be more than happy able to do that, but I got shit I need to do, and unfortunately, this streaming and everything is not covering it. So, I don't really want to say that I'm just gonna be stopping streaming altogether and stop making content altogether, because I'm still like, it's still something I want to do, but it's just something I can't do right now. Like, does that make sense? I hope it does. I don't know. I don't know. The more time goes on, maybe the more time goes on, the more I might, more things might change and I might be back to streaming and everything. I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know, maybe tomorrow I'll just change my tune, or maybe, like, I don't know, months down the line, or maybe years down the line I'll change my tune. I don't know. It's probably not going to be years or months, but I don't know, really. Like, until I can find, like, a path that actually has me set for life financially, I don't really know if I'm at liberty to constantly be on top of what I would want to do. Not necessarily. Like, I would love to have a full-time job, either like streaming or even drawing, but it's not really bringing in any, like, money for me to be supported financially in the grand scheme of things. So it's just like, I would love to do that, but it's just like, it's not really helping me in the grand scheme of things with what I need. Like, it's what I want to do, but it's, in the grand scheme of things, not what I need to do. Like, I would love to continue streaming games. I would love to continue, like, doing my playthrough of Black Rock Shooter, or even going back to, like, Hades and everything. I would love to do that, but it's just, like, it's more in the sense of, like, it just feels more like an obligation I'm not getting paid for. And this is... I've come across this problem multiple times in the past, where it's stuff that I want to do, but it feels like an obligation I have to do. And it's an obligation that ultimately feels like it's not really helping me in the grand scheme of things. Like, there's other obligations that I've had that I've really hadn't want to do, but they've also helped me out a great number of times, and it's just like, that's why I've been keeping on top of it. Like, one of my previous jobs, I worked a full-time warehouse job, and I was just, like, crunching it for, like, up to 10 hours. At some point, I didn't like the job, but I needed the checks. I needed to be able to support myself. I needed rent. I needed rent money. So, yeah, it's just, like, I don't know, it's just, I don't really know if, in the grand scheme of things, I'm gonna be all too comfortable, like, continuing, like, to do streaming, at least for right now. I don't know. But I don't know, it's just, I really don't know right now. It's just like, there's a lot I'm just kind of taking in kind of all at once in the grand scheme of things. But more or less, it's just like, I don't know, with what's happening this summer. On top of that, what I'm planning to go for later on in the year. Yeah, that whole thing about, like, months out the line or even years down the line of coming back to streaming, that might be a reality. I don't know. Because I'm planning to, like, put forward some things that are just, like, that I'm actually trying to do in order to sort of change up my situation in the grand scheme of things for the better. And it's just, I kind of feel like for right now, sticking on top of, like, a streaming schedule and everything, you know, at first I was fine with it, but things changed down the line, and now it's just, now here I am. It's just like, I don't really feel up to it. But I don't know, when I get things sorted out and then my mind is a lot more clear and everything, and I'm more or less kind of back to just the type of mentality that I can do where it's just like, I'm perfectly fine to stream and everything, and it's not really that much of an issue mentally. I guess, you know, I would be more or less fine to come back. But, again, for right now, I just... I don't know. Grief is weird. It really is. Like... I mean... I guess on the topic, like, I've known my cat for, like, over 16 years, and... now he's going. Like, I'm not really, like, bawling my eyes out or anything. Like, it's sad, but I'm not really, like, bawling my eyes out, and I'm not, like, incredibly pissed or anything. It's just, it's kind of like how I'm treating it right now is just, like, it is what it is, and I'm just trying to let it sink in. And I don't know, I guess, I don't know, I guess I don't know if it really is sunken in yet, or anything. I'm just kind of in that mode where it's just like, I don't really know necessarily how to feel about it. Like, I guess it's, like, I don't know, like, I guess it's sad, but at the same time, like, it's kind of a lot, I guess. Where it's just like, I'm just trying to process it bit by bit, and it's just like, I can't really give much of an answer about, like, how I feel or anything right now. I can't. It's just kind of... I guess it's just, like, here or there, more or less, in terms of how I feel, here or there. Yeah. I would love to, I'd love to be back in terms of, like, streaming and doing some stuff with friends, but it's just, like, here or there, it's like, I'm trying to see what I can do to get better. But I don't know, from the looks of things and the grand scheme of things, I might be on this for quite a while. I don't know. I've dealt with grief before, but I don't really think it's on this level. So, I mean, last time I dealt with grief, I just completely and utterly, like, shut down for a good half hour. And then... well, I say half hour. I shut down for, like, a couple days, honestly. But on this, it's just, like, I don't know if it's because I felt it personally already, or if it's because it's just, like, I don't know, maybe this is just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But, yeah. In the grand scheme of things, like, when it comes to, like, streaming and everything, I think a big part of, like, why I don't really, like, feel comfortable coming back is ultimately it's just, like, I mean, people can argue the opposite here in the grand scheme of things when they come see my streams or anything, but I do have to kind of force myself more and more, like, as just when streams come on. I do kind of have to force myself bit by bit to just put on this face, put on this mask, and just, like, just kind of force myself to be somewhat entertaining. I do. And there are people out there who would be like, well, you shouldn't force yourself to entertain. I mean, I've tried that, and nobody really cares. Like, that's the whole thing about, like, streaming or making content. Like, at the end of the day, regardless of what you may want to say or think, it's still entertainment. And I'm an entertainer. I gotta be entertaining. And if I'm not entertaining, people are not gonna give a fuck. And if people don't give a fuck, I'm not really gonna make it anywhere in this particular aspect of the world. That's the truth. And when it comes down to it, I really don't think I'm all that entertaining. I really don't. But I do it because, not because it's just like, I try to be entertaining, not because I want to try to be entertaining or anything, or not because I want to be entertaining as my dream goal or anything, but it's more so it's just like, it's just something I want to try to do to fix my situation in life. Like, just try to see it as a viable, like, I will admit, I do want to see it as a viable source of income, but at the same time, it's like, and again, there's that whole thing of, like, well, you shouldn't do it for the money, you should do it for happiness, and that's true, but that's, like, on this extent of what I'm talking about, saying that I shouldn't do it for the money is kind of a detached mindset, where someone like me doesn't also require stuff like food, water, and, you know, going to the hospital and paying bills and paying insurance. So, I don't really know if, you know, it's just like, I don't really know if I want to, like, continue doing this in the grand scheme of things, if it's just, if I'm just going to turn up short in the grand scheme of things. Like, it's essentially, I guess it is sort of like sunk cost fallacy in a sense. Like, I have sunk a bit of money into this, sure, but it wasn't like I haven't dedicated my everything I own or all my money into trying to do this and pull it off. But at the same time, it's just like, I've tried time and time again to stream and make content, and, you know, bit by bit, I guess, yeah, I am sort of, like, coming out, but at the same time, it's just like, I guess there's just a lack of motivation in the grand scheme of things. Like, other people I know are I know other people who are content creators who've just, like, they've more or less dealt with what I've gone through. In some cases, they've dealt what I'm going through, and like, but far more personal. And yeah, they've also had to take, like, breaks and everything, but they've also come back in the grand scheme of things. But in my eyes, like, they can do that, and it's fine, because at the end of the day, it's just like, that's something that they can make a living off of. Currently, as it is, streaming and making content, this is not something I can make a living off of. I mean, sure, like, maybe people would love to continue looking at, like, you know, what I upload and everything. Sure, but it's just like, at this point in my life, all I can see it as, and I guarantee you, like, people around me who is just, like, who aren't necessarily my friends or anything, they'll look at this and they'll be like, yeah, you're just, like, at the end of the day, this is just a hobby as it is. That's the truth. It's just like, it's a hobby. It's just something that I do in my free time. It's not something I can really rely on. I keep saying this, but again, it's not really something I can really rely on. And I don't know. It's like, again, I want to keep doing this, but I'm just thinking, like, if I don't really take my life seriously, right? If I don't really take the opportunities in front of me seriously and actually go after them. Am I gonna be stuck here? Am I just gonna be stuck exactly where I was just now, like, several years in the future? Just scraping by with whatever money I can get by with, like, part-time jobs and everything, and then just, like, just kind of wasting away in terms of, like, my future? I don't know. But I sure fucking hope not. So yeah, it's just like, I guess in some ways, yeah, sure, me streaming and everything, like, coming to a halt because of my cat, I do think that it is a major contribution, but it's also made me think about more so in the sense of, like, I guess and it's tough to say this, but essentially how with all of this, I've kind of been wasting my life. In the grand scheme of things. Like, that's how I feel. Not necessarily drawing or anything. Not necessarily, like, drawing, because that I'm having fun with. I still enjoy. Like, hell, last week, when I was, like, still in the middle of, like, grieving and everything, like, one of the major things I did and put my mind to was drawing my cat. Like, that's what I did. That's what I did in terms of, like, to help me feel... like, tell me feel like at the same time I was doing something, but also sort of, like, be able to deal with it. Deal with the reality of the matter. And it helped. So, yeah, I don't think, like, me drawing or anything is me wasting my life. I just think me more so trying to stick to scheduling in this department and trying to stick to a schedule in terms of, like, streaming, making content and everything, being a PNG tuber, all that stuff, I just feel like is, right now as it is, just wasting my life. Because it's not really amounting to anything. I mean, sure, yeah, I'm getting a following on the internet and everything, sure, but, like, okay, but I do have to continuously ask myself, it's just like, is this doing anything to help me stay afloat? Is this doing anything to help me, like, change my situation for the better? And time again, it's just like, I have to say, it's like, no, it's not, but if I keep working at it, it will, and it's just like, I still do believe that's the case, but it's just like, that mindset I've had is just in a constant state of eventually. It's like, eventually I'll get to that point. Eventually I'll do that. And I think more or less it's just deceptive of my mind, because I've tried doing this before successfully while not actually getting paid for it. I've done it successfully where I've gotten a major following. But, you know, that was then, and this is now. Ultimately, things have changed. And, yeah. So ultimately, like, yeah, I can't help but think I'm just wasting my life continuing, like, doing this, at least for right now. Like, I feel like I don't know, if I feel like, more or less, I was capable of making a living off my art, at least, and I was staying afloat financially and everything, and I had a good following, and just, like, I was in a state where it's like, I could do what makes me happy, and still support myself financially and everything. I would probably, like, I'd probably be more optimistic towards, like, streaming and everything. I would. But at the same time, like, I'm 23 and I'm going to be on to be 24. I don't really know at this point. It's like, I've been trying to do this since, like, what? Well, not necessarily streaming, but it's just like, I've been trying to do this whole thing of, like, making a career out of my art for, like, since 2020, 2019? 2019. That's like almost 4 years now. And I'm still more or less, well, there are people that have found me and appreciate my work and everything, and I'm thankful for those who have. Sad truth is, it's just not enough for me to continue seeing it as like this is a potential future I can keep like pursuing or anything. And I don't think in any way, shape, or form going back to what I previously was doing is going to be good. Mainly because of copyright, but also because, like I've said before, my previous channel that I used to like make content on everything on YouTube is just a reminder of a time when I was like suicidal and I was just in a bad place, more or less. At least that's how I see it. So I don't really think going back to that is going to help anything. But at the same time, I don't really feel like sticking around and continuing to stream and continuing to make content all for like free and everything is really a fail-safe option in the long run. I don't. So yeah. I'm like, I gotta take this. I really feel like I gotta take this year to work on myself and figure things out so that I'm not worried. I'm not. At least I can be in terms of like. I wouldn't say necessarily not worried about money, but more so I can be in a place where it's just like, if I wanted, or if I, not necessarily wanted, if I needed to track down like some employment and get a steady stream of finances so I can be able to pay for shit that I actually need, it wouldn't be much of an issue. But as things are right now, especially in my life, it's just like this isn't really something this isn't I'm not really in any position to go. So it's like, yeah, I can continue streaming, I can continue making content for free because I have that privilege. I really don't. I really don't. Like, making videos talking about anime and everything, I like doing it. And, playing games I enjoy, yeah, I like doing that too. But there's a difference. Again, I've said this already. There's a difference between stuff that I want to do and stuff that I need to do. That's the major thing. So, I don't really know if I'm, yeah, I probably will come back. I don't know when. I don't know. Knowing me, it might be in a few weeks, maybe like a month or so. I might come back realistically from my, like, looking at my past. I might come back in a month. I might not. I might be busy. Or, I don't know. Maybe I just won't come back until, like, years down the line. And people sort of just kind of forget about me and move on and everything. Or maybe people don't and they stick around. I don't really know. I can't read your minds. So yeah. Yeah, when it comes to like streaming on Twitch, when it comes to making content on YouTube, it's sorta here or there. I guess considering that, like, I don't know, maybe making content on YouTube like anime discussions or manga discussions, I could probably still do those, but I don't really know how good they're gonna be. And for streaming content on Twitch and everything, like, again, I'm just not in the right headspace. I don't think so, in any way, shape, or form. I don't think I'm in the right headspace. Like, hell, before I like, started the stream and everything, like, I was, like, starting up the stream, and I was thinking, I'm just gonna inform people what's going on, it'll be good. And then, for a few minutes, more or less, when I had to come on, it was just, like, I was struggling already to find the words to, like, actually come out and even start doing this and everything. So yeah, I don't believe in any way, shape, or form I'm in the right headspace. So I need to... Yeah, I guess I just need to take a hiatus. which is kind of in my perspective, it's a little aggravating because I already sort of took a hiatus, especially from YouTube, for a month because of how they treated me, how YouTube treated me specifically, and yeah, and now I feel like I just like I don't know. I really don't know how to feel. I don't know how to think. But I know one thing for sure. It's just like it's not the right time for me to come back. So, I don't know when I'm going to be back. I don't know if I'm even going to be back, really. Hell, like maybe this is going to turn out for the best. Maybe like I'll think about coming back, but then like I find an opportunity down the line that just is just a golden ticket in my eyes, and I try it, but then it also leaves me in a position where it's just like I can't like stream or make content or anything. It's just like it's something I have to do in order to like I guess be happy with myself. And then it's just come to the point where it's just like I gotta quit. But I don't know. I doubt it. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't. But either way, it's just like I got a lot to think about in the grand scheme of things. Just like I gotta think about what I'm gonna do now. I gotta talk to my family about what do we do now and everything. I just gotta. I'm trying my best ultimately, and you can obviously see like I'm struggling and everything, but I'm trying my best. Yeah, but it's just like again, I don't know. I just don't know. Like, I don't really know what to think now. I don't really know what to do now. I don't really know what to say or feel. I'm just in a state of mind where it's just like I don't know, and I kind of gotta sit and think on that for a while. I don't know when I'll get things figured out. I probably won't. I don't know. Maybe I won't ever know. Maybe. Uh, but more or less, yeah. I mean, I might be down to like streaming everything again, depending on some things. But that's gonna be up to if I actually ask people if they're on board with it through and through. Like I considered like doing my podcast Autumn Colors. I considered doing it live. I don't know how that would go though, but I considered it. But I don't know. I guess in that respects, I mean, it is just me talking with my friends and everything, so. But at the same time, I probably would be better off, if I'm going to be doing that, I probably would be better off just pre recording it. Probably. I had some ideas, and also speaking of my podcast, I have some like different ideas that I wanted to tackle, but it's just like, well, this one is on me personally. I had an idea to do like an episode on Devil May Cry, but it's just like me personally. Things have just, I've already said things have not gone as I'd hoped or anything, and it's just like now it's just like I gotta think about what I want to do now. for the future. So, yeah. I had some other ideas for like the podcast as well too. I wanted to make an episode around. I'm still not sure on whether or not I should talk about this, but I had two guests in particular that I was like really excited for and everything that I wanted to talk about a particular game series with. But I mean, they both have agreed to it, or at least one of them has agreed to come on. It like things are look in terms of like. I mean, I've talked to some people and they've agreed to come on, but at the same time, it's just like life is kind of not turning out where they both can be free at the same time. So I don't know. And I wanted to like kind of talk about a game series with them, considering that they're big fans as well, but I again, it's just like I don't really know if I want to say any more than that, mainly because just like they've agreed, but nothing has been set in motion. There has been no date for recording, and there has been no like confirmation between one or the other between it's like when they are gonna be free to even do this. So I don't know, but it's something that like I don't know. It's been something that I've like kept in mind since like over a year now. I would even say like 2 years now, and it's been something that I've been wanting to do. But it's just like with the way things are, it's just like something that I don't really think is gonna happen anytime soon. It might not even happen this year at all, honestly, with the way things are. I'll have to ask them, but I doubt it's gonna lead to anything. Mainly because one, I'm not paying anybody who shows up, so they don't really have any mandatory obligation to show up. I'm just asking them nicely if they would like to, because I'd like to hear their inputs and everything. So it's very much in the case of like when they're free and when I'm free and when we can talk. But yeah, in terms of like I don't know. I obviously intended to continue doing like BlackRock shooter streaming. Obviously that's gonna have to be like put on hold for the time being in the grand scheme of things, obviously. But I don't know. I I don't really think I have much else I want to talk about. I don't even know what else to talk about at this point. But yeah, I'm there's a lot I have to think about. But yeah. I probably should get out of here, honestly. Yeah. I don't know when I'll be back. Maybe this will be a false flag. Maybe next week I'll be back up to recording everything and then trying my hand at this again. Maybe not. Maybe it'll take like a few more weeks or a month, multiple months, or maybe even a year. I don't know. I don't know. I guess it all depends on what the future holds. And how I am in the future, too. Yeah. I don't fucking know. I'm gonna get out of here, I guess. Yeah. Alright. I guess take care. Although I doubt anyone actually has come by and watched me. Whatever, I don't... That's the least of my worries. Take care.